The Germans do it 2-0 on the night. Some controversy, some big decisions to talk about. Sorry, I got the hiccups. But Kai Havertz and Musiala deliver for the Germans. They go through to the quarterfinals. Some big VAR decisions. Again, I apologize for the hiccups tonight. Some big VAR decisions to talk about this evening. But a great game. I want to start off by saying that a great and an entertaining game of football. This tournament has not let us down. It's been mesmerizing to watch at times. This game started like a freight train, and the Germans were potent for the opening 19 minutes. They had a goal, I do believe rightfully disallowed, by the way, a clear body check to stop the runner in the opening 3 minutes. And then it was just an onslaught, and you were sitting there thinking, how many are Germany going to win by? What are the Danes going to do? And then they started to come into the match, and they had their moments and periods. And it was I wouldn't say it was an even game. I think the Germans over the 90 minutes were the deserved winners. But it was end-to-end. There were chances for both sides. The overriding thought of this tournament is that nobody is formidable. Nobody is unbeatable. And you saw that tonight. Halftime comes and you think, wow, this is going to be an amazing second half. This could go any way. And in a very short space of time in the second half, you saw some madness with VAR. Now, initially, Anderson scores and puts the Danes ahead. And then you see VAR checking for offside. And with the replays, it looks as though they were giving Anderson offside. But I thought, and I want to say it was Kai Havertz, but it could have been somebody else now, made a deliberate attempt to clear the ball. Therefore, I'm thinking, well, he's onside. And it isn't until we saw the graphics 3 or 4 minutes later that you actually see, I think it was Delaney's foot that was offside by a millimeter or two. Wow. Now, the rules are the rules. It's offside. I'm not arguing that. But you're talking a hair's breadth. Stop the Germans going a goal down. And by the way, I'm not drunk. You don't hiccup when you're drunk. I've just got hiccups. A moment later, a handball is given. And I understand why the handball was given. When you say clear offside, I don't think it is a clear offside if it's a millimeter, but it is offside. No issue. Anderson then concedes a penalty. And the penalty is more controversial. His hand is out, there's no doubt. But his body's also to the side. So he's not making his body bigger because he's turned to the side. And if you've played football, that is what your arm does when you're running and you turn. Your arm goes out to the side. The unnatural position is to have your arms by your side. But you could state by the letter of the law it's a penalty. It was just unfortunate. So I don't necessarily think VAR got it wrong. It was just mad that those two things happen in such a short space of time. So when I say it was a madness, I don't mean terrible decisions. I just mean, oh, wow. Now, when I tweeted, I think, saying I don't think it was a penalty. I've watched it back. I don't think that should be a penalty. Close proximity wasn't deliberate. His body wasn't made bigger. His arm, in my opinion, someone who's played football, is in a natural position. But we know they're given in the game. So I can be objective and move away from my own personal feelings. I get why it was given. Kai Havertz tucks it away impeccably well. And then Musiala puts the icing on top of the cake a few minutes later. And look, did Germany deserve it? Yeah, I'd say over the course of 90 minutes, I would say Germany deserved to be the victors tonight. They deserve to go through to the next round. And I predicted that Denmark could win. I think I went with like a 2-1 or a narrow win. And there was times in the game where it felt like that could happen. I don't feel like my prediction ended up being wrong, but I don't feel like it was a madness. And I don't know why these hiccups are not going away, but I think they're going to be here for the show. So we're going to have to all deal with it. But I just feel gutted for Denmark. I'm an Englishman. I don't want the Germans to win, with all due respect to any Germans watching. Big, massive love to your country, but we've got a rivalry. And of course, there are two Man United players on the pitch for the Danes, and I wanted them to win. I'm very open to admit that. So I'm gutted for the Danish tonight. I'm gutted for Denmark. I'm gutted for Anderson. I'm gutted for Christian Eriksen, because I really wanted them to perform well, and I wanted them to go through to the next round as well. It's been the tournament of the underdog so far, and I wanted another one to go through tonight. I know you're all saying drink water, but I can't drink water while I'm talking to you all. I've got to do my job. And I've been drinking this. I've drunk like half of this already, and it just won't go away. It'll go away if I forget about it. But yeah, as I say, a brilliant game. I was thoroughly entertained. Some huge controversy and madnesses, but the right team probably won in the end. Now, I am going to address it because people in the comments are talking about it, and it is, Terry, what did you make of Rasmus Hojlund tonight? And he was poor. But unlike some amoebas that I've seen online, I'm not happy about it. I can't fathom. I get rivals are going to want to go in. Fair play. Man United fans, do it to your players. I've got no issue with that. He was wasteful tonight, Rasmus. I think he had the opportunity in the first half where he should have gone across the goal. He didn't. I don't blame him for the second opportunity. I thought it was a great save from Neuer. I think he did everything he could. It was a very, very good save. I think if anybody else in the Denmark team had that chance and Neuer saved it, everybody says world-class save. And then he had the opportunity in the second half, and he put a lot of power in it, but it went too close to the goalkeeper, and I thought he snatched at it. I thought the pressure got to him. And overall, I think he had a poor performance. But I'm not happy about it. And I've seen a number of amoebas online who are proclaimed to be Man United fans, happy that Rasmus had a bad game. And that doesn't compute for me on any level. On not a singular level do I understand how you can be happy that one of your players had a bad game. I get rivals being happy. Absolutely fair. But why would any Man United fan be happy? Would they sell it? Even if you don't like Rasmus, that's your subjective fault. Why would you be happy he's had a bad game? He's one of yours. Celebrating that is strange. It's not even strange behavior. It's fake behavior. It's performance. It's performative. It's like watching the Kardashians. It's like watching The Only Way is Essex. It's not real. It can't be. I've got a lot of time for Rasmus. I think there's a player in there. I think he needs more nurturing and more coaching. But I will openly put my hands up and say he had a poor game tonight. I couldn't imagine celebrating a Man United player having a bad game. I get angry when Man United players perform badly for my clubs or my nations. I feel bad for them when they have bad games. I can't ever imagine celebrating one of my players having a bad game. That just doesn't compute to me on any level. But each to their own. Do what makes you happy. It's just something I can't do. But I can put my hands up and say I thought he had a poor game tonight, especially in front of goal. He should have done better, snatched at his opportunities and chances. And, ultimately that has contributed to his nation going out, and he has to learn from that. He has to take the criticism. And what I will also say to the positive people out there, the overly positive people, is saying he had a poor game is good for him. Protecting him and saying he was fine and there's nothing to worry about. You would never want that to be the message into him right now. I hope that it's done in the right way, but I hope that his coach at Denmark does criticize him. I hope that he's shown his areas of his ways and he hopefully learns from that. Adversity can help better people. But belittling him, laughing at your own, that's either the sign of a psychopath or somebody that is fake and performative. I can't imagine why you would at this particular juncture. It makes no sense whatsoever. standard haters. Well, look. I don't think it's about being a hater. It's even if you're like, I don't think he'll do very well, you should be unhappy that you're right. It's one of these things. If Man United sign a player and I'm like, I don't think he's going to work for us, and he doesn't work for us, I'm not like, yeah, I told you. I'm like, I'm so gutted I'm right. I wanted to be wrong because I want my team to be better. It's just a weird way to behave, in my personal opinion. But then again, I'm not a psychopath. So do you know what I mean? So there we go. Musiala over Foden. No, Musiala has had a very good tournament. I didn't think he was particularly great tonight overall. Took his goal well. There was a brilliant tackle he put in later on in the game. But I wouldn't say that Musiala was sort of amazing tonight, but he delivered. And delivery in knockout competitions is sometimes every bit as important as an overarching performance. So, excellent player. Terry, honestly, what do you mean by there is a player in there? What do you see? Well, the fact that he had the chances, one of them kind of fell to him because of a mistake, but shows you that he has the spatial awareness and understands where to be as a striker. There was also a moment a few times in the game when there was analysis shown on this. I don't know where you're watching from, my friend, but over here in the UK, when the thunderstorm was happening, and you saw some of the runs he made and the ball didn't come back to him. So he knows where to be on the vast majority of situations. As the game grew, I wasn't impressed with his hold-up play in the first half. In the second half, I thought that got much, much better. When I say there's a player in there, there is an individual that I think can become fairly prolific. Do I see someone that can score at the same rates as a Ronaldo or a Haaland or a Harry Kane? No. Do I see someone that could score 20 to 25 goals per season? Yes, he scored 16 last year. And I think in a really poor and inconsistent Man United team. So in a more consistent Man United team, do I think he would be able to score 20 to 25 goals? Yes, I think there is a good quality player in there that needs nurturing. That isn't the same as me saying I think there's a world-class superstar in him. The problem is in football now with young players, we do this whole he's either Mbappe or shit thing. And not everybody that comes through is going to be of that level. And I know everybody wants a player there. But equally, when it comes to my opinion on him, I'm not married to the idea of not signing somebody else who is better than him. So I'm not suggesting that we should turn down a world-class striker because I need Rasmus's development. No, but I don't think he is this dead, awful player that can't be nurtured, can't get better, can't become a better performer. Equally, I'll criticize him for what he did tonight. For me, that's called balance. For me, that's called not allowing my personal emotions to override what I actually see going on. But at the same time, I get he isn't everybody's cup of tea. Seeing people celebrate him have a bad game who are meant to be Man United fans, I find that, as I say, I'll say it again, it's either psychopathic behavior or it's performative and fake. It's one of those two things. You could never be happy when one of your own has a bad moment. It doesn't make any sense. One of your own doing a bad job shouldn't make you happy. Explain why it makes you happy. Maybe I'll change my mind. It's depressing to me. Of course it should be, because you're right. And this is the thing. Even if you don't rate someone, them having a bad game should still not make you happy. Being happy that something you're meant to love has a bad game. I don't mean love him as an individual, as a human being. I just mean it as part of your club. Seeing him do badly, even if it confirms your beliefs, shouldn't make you happy. In my humble opinion. No, again, someone needs to explain why. Mo and Husam, where you at, boys? We want to get you on the screen. I don't know where you are. I'm waiting for you. That's why I haven't brought the panel out yet. Get your asses here, boys. Terry, you've called him world class. Why? I've never called him world class. I've never said that Rasmus Hojlund's world class. Why lie? Why lie? I mean, this is the thing. If you're going to debate me, you can't. The first thing you can't do is lie about something I haven't said. Come on now. It's crazy. Crazy. Denmark was so hard done by the ref. I don't know if they were. I don't know if they were in terms of, you know, Germany had a goal disallowed. Their goal was offside. I get the handball thing, but those handballs have been given for a while now. Terry, get that kidney checked out. My friend started with consistent hiccups. Later, he found out he had kidney failure. Died 1 year later. Bruv, like, it's just hiccups. Like, trust me, my kidney's good. It's just hiccups. I don't think I've got a kidney problem. Personally, I really don't. Like, I'd be looking, that's your liver that makes you go yellow, but no, my kidney's fine, bruv. It's just the hiccups. It's just the hiccups. It started, I was drinking some water, and it went down the wrong hole, and I haven't been able to get rid of it since. Havertz all-round game, bar the miss was top today. Yeah, I thought Kai Havertz had an excellent game today. I thought Kai Havertz was really, really good today, barring that he like, the irony is, in front of goal, he actually was fairly similar to Rasmus today. He just missed the chances, but everything else was really, really good today. But he put that penalty away, and delivery matters. Delivery matters. Terry, what on earth has Kai Havertz delivered? 2, though, on goal and missed all of them. We didn't miss one. One was saved. Voyer said, at his best, he is as good as Ozil. Don't disrespect Ozil. I haven't said that. Look, I thought he delivered today. I thought he played well. I thought his hold-up play was good. I thought he knitted the attack together well. And he scored that all-important penalty when the game was in the balance. I felt that Germany were going to go out when they conceded. I felt that confidence was going to get sapped from them. If they missed that penalty, I also believe they were going to go out. That's just my personal belief. And my title is a reflection of my belief of the game. And I feel that they got that life through Denmark being just offside. They got fortunate with an accidental handball, which by the letter of the law in 2024 is a handball. They had to tuck it away. If it had missed that penalty, the momentum would have swung again. So that is what he delivered, in my opinion. Kai Havertz and Sane pissed me off. Tell me why. You've got to give me more detail than that. Which hole did the water go down? Well, when you drink something, it goes down the wrong hole. It goes down. I might get this wrong. I've never been asked that question. When you drink water and it goes down the wrong hole, I swear, my thought was it goes down the breath hole, whatever that's called. Maybe it don't, but wherever the air comes from, I don't know what it's called. I'm not a fucking scientist. You know, I used to sell phones and sell bank accounts. It goes down the hole where the lungs are. Doesn't it? I could be wrong. If I'm wrong, someone tell me. But I always thought that's what it was. That's why you choke. Because if it goes down the hole that it's meant to go down, you wouldn't choke, would you? But you could choke. Because that's where the food goes and you choke. And that's not fucking right, is it, Till? But do you know why I don't know? I've never thought about it. It's never been that serious to me. But you're actually right. It's probably not. It's probably still... Maybe they're both in the same place. I don't know. They can't both lead to the same place, but maybe at some point they're in the same. Maybe in the esophagus. I don't know. I don't think about it. Someone tell me that understands science. It's never been something I've ever thought about before. Yeah, saying that don't fucking help me, bruv. I respect you because you're smarter than me, but I don't know what that means. What do you mean, Terry? Stop. But when you choke, you must block the airwaves, right? But when you swallow food, you don't block the airwaves. There must be a particular... Is there a moment in time where they're both in the same place? Because when I swallow food, I don't stop breathing. When I take a drink, I don't. But when it goes down the wrong hole, I can't breathe for a second. Someone explain that to me. In layman's terms, like I'm 5 years old. I need to understand it. Anyway, I know what the esophagus is. I don't know what's happening. Somebody asked me a question that I've never thought about. It's like if someone said, how does the TV work? I don't know. I never thought about it because I don't care. I just turn it on. There we go. No, Terry, you are slow. I mean, I don't think I'm being slow. I just never thought about it. I'm not slow. I just never thought about it before. But that is your esophagus. You swallow, when you swallow food, it goes down your esophagus. It fucking does. I know it does. Because it goes to your stomach. Do you know how I know that? Because I've got a hiatus hernia and I've had problems with it. I'm just asking for someone to be nice. Your lungs are drinking. What? You don't breathe and swallow at the same time. I get that. So am I right then? When it goes down the wrong hole and you choke, what is that? And I stop breathing. Someone explain it. I don't get it. But the thing is, I'm not acting like I just never thought about it. It's not even that deep. Relax. Well, it is when it goes down the wrong hole. It fucking hurts. Anyway. Contraction of the diaphragm. Is that what it is? There we go. Thank you. Thank you. When you say trickier, that doesn't mean anything. I don't understand. Explain it. Don't just throw fucking words out. Explain it. If you can't explain it in basic terms, it means you don't understand it. You do understand that, right? If you can't explain something in basic, easy to digest ways, it means you don't understand it. Because that don't mean anything. Tell you are right, okay? Well, I don't know if I am. I just don't understand it. But again, I've never thought about it. Isn't, to me, it ain't important to know what happens if you choke on something. But you know what's really good in this conversation? I forgot about my hiccups and they've gone. Hey! Fuck me. What's this say here? The airway that leads from the larynx, voice box, to the bronchi, the large airway that leads to the lungs, also called the windpipe. Yeah, I get that. What I'm saying is, when you swallow food and you start choking, is there a point where they all come into the same place? Because how food goes down here, right? Why, if it gets stuck here, do you stop breathing? Someone must know. Because you don't swallow in the windpipe. But why do you? I need to understand it. I never thought about it. You've all put it in my head. Someone tell me. Ah, that is the windpipe. There we go. Cool. Again, I'm not sitting here pretending I know about this stuff. I did. Do you know how long ago I left school? I probably got taught this 23 years ago. I forget. You do forget these things. All you youngsters don't get it. Anyway, flap. I don't know what that means. Yes, there's a flap. So I was fucking right then. At some point, it goes down the wrong hole because the flap ain't closed properly. Fucking hell. Jesus Christ. I don't know. It just made sense. Anyway, no, the two pipes are separate. I know they're separate. That's not the question. The question was, how does it go down the wrong hole? Is there a point where they're almost connected or an area where they're the same? Someone just said there's a flap. Someone says, no, there isn't. I don't get. Someone says there's a flap. Someone else says there isn't. What's the flap actually called, though? Because it ain't called the flap. There's no way the doctor says, let me check his flap down his throat. There's no way. Yes, there is a flap. Oh, this is brilliant. Fuck the football. We're talking about throat flaps. Hang on a second. You're trickier. Is it pronounced trickier, right? Is a simple term for your windpipe. If water or fluid passes through it, you get hiccups. So it does go down. So it does go down the wrong hole. I was right. Why were people telling me I was wrong? Fucking hell. I feel like I don't even know what to say right now. So weird. Such a weird conversation. Terry, there's only one pipe. Now there's only one pipe. I'm off. Nah, you're playing with me. You're playing with me. Someone says no Diddy. Yeah, nothing Diddy-esque is going down my pipe, bruv. Each to their own. Love you all. Just not my preference. And I know it's 2024, but I still think I'm allowed a preference. Canadian Cam's backstage. You're in Canada, very liberal country. Do I still have preference? Is preference still allowed? I need to know. He says yes. There we go. Husam will definitely say yes, preference is allowed, 100%. He's in Jordan. That's full of men. Yes. I was going to ask Matty that's backstage. No, he doesn't know. He's beta. He's beyond beta. He's lower than beta. Do you know what I'm saying? He's yeah. Terry is always right. I'm not always right. I assumed when you swallow something and choke, it's blocked an airway, but that can't be the same pipe as when you normally swallow food. Otherwise, you'd always fucking choke when you swallowed. But the flap must be there because when you swallow, for a split second, you're not breathing. So the flap must close. It makes sense in basic terms. Anyway, Husam's here, Cam's here, Matt's here. How are your flaps?
Yo, so the trachea and the esophagus are two different pieces in your throat. One leads to your stomach, one leads to your lungs.
Yes.
If something goes down the wrong side, it causes an adverse reaction. Sometimes it's hiccuping, sometimes it's choking. It depends.
I agree.
That's the answer.
Throat lessons 101.
That's what I said in the beginning. I was like, it went down the wrong hole. When people are like, what do you mean wrong hole?
There is like, two different.
Yeah, that's why the expression's there, wrong hole. It went down the wrong hole. And then I'm getting hundreds of people saying, no, it's all the same hole. I'm going, it's the same pipe. When does it break off then? Like, I don't know. Like, I'm just going by the comments.
It's anatomy. I couldn't get into when it breaks or any of that shit.
Me neither. Do any of us care? All I know is my hiccups are gone, which is good. Germany win tonight, boys. Talk to me.
I failed biology. But this was still more interesting than the game, to be honest with you. That was a boring as hell game, to be honest. Yes, I think so. Let me breathe.
I didn't say anything. You just saw my face, but
yeah, it's just Denmark are so like I've never seen a football team just make more dumber decisions, to be honest with you, than like Denmark today. They had Christensen, Anderson, and Vestergaard and decided to play a high line, against that Germany front line, which is a death wish after they conceded. And I feel like as soon as Germany scored the first goal, all the Danish confidence just went out through the window. They were like, kind of like they were reserved to losing the game, to be honest with you. I just didn't see the comeback from it whatsoever. I don't know why Kai Havertz is on the thing, because he was crap today. He was probably one of the worst players for Germany. Right there, missing chance after chance after chance. You cannot do that, specifically in the knockout stages, because you'll end up costing your team. Obviously, it didn't cost them today because they won the game. So it didn't cost them today. But next up, they're going to play the winner of Spain and Georgia. Now, obviously, if it's Georgia, it's a different story. But most likely, it's going to be Spain. If Spain come up against Germany, Havertz need to be clinical in a game of football. And he wasn't clinical at all today. Hojlund down the other end, same thing. I think the chance he had in the second half while it was still 1-0, should have scored it right there. And I think they had another chance as well when they were 2-1. It's funny because Denmark have a bunch of players who are like 6'5" and taller, and they could not get a single correct, accurate cross into the penalty box. And it just kept pissing me off because I'm like, can you just make a correct cross? That would be really nice, because you have a bunch of tall
corners either.
Yeah, and their corners were crap. I'm like, Christian Eriksen, Habibi, you have about 6'5", like 5 players to aim for. Can you just get one accurate cross? And that would be really nice. But it just didn't happen, But look, I think Musiala had an incredible finish for the second goal. First, his only chance of the game, and he just bagged it, Michael Oliver. It's just, I don't know why. I'm not even going to get into which decisions I think are right and which decisions I think are wrong or any of that stuff. I just don't know why it's always an English referee. Whenever there's controversy, whenever there's like, a whole lot of shit happening, it has to be an English referee there. But look, Germany advanced. Today on the 90-minute performance, they were probably a lot better than Denmark, so they deserve to go through anyway, to be honest with you. So, they deserve to go through. I don't think anyone can deny that they deserve to go through. They definitely deserve to go through. And we'll see what happens in the quarters, because in the quarters will become their, I'd say, with no disrespect to Switzerland, probably their biggest and, most important test so far when they come up against Spain. But they did what needed to be done. And one guy I want to shout out, because listen, of course, we're going to talk about Havertz, and we're going to talk about this guy and that guy. But for me, there's today, a king amongst men, and his name goes by Antonio Rudiger. That guy was not normal today. He is just unbelievable. Like he's just unbelievable today. The way that he defended, the way he cleared, he tackled, he intercepted, he led the line. Even the way that he won the headers was always into the path of a teammate. Like he was just so
He
good.
created
So
two big chances too, which was kind of crazy.
yes, so you have to give him a shout out today. So he's unbelievable. Rudiger today was class. So that's my thoughts in the game.
Yeah, I mean, Cam, I wanted to ask you. Like, we know he didn't have a great game today, but a lot of people were going in on Rasmus. Interestingly, a lot of Chelsea fans, especially, I'm seeing that's your super chat came through as I said that says, "Can't believe people were saying Rasmus
As his
was
burner
better than
account.
Jackson." Do you feel like there's a bit of an agenda and people are pushing it here, or
I mean,
how do you see it, Cam?
I would never, this whole weird Jackson versus Hojlund, I don't know where it came from. I wasn't even thinking about Jackson today until Chaz brought it up. Like it wasn't even in my mind. The reason why people defend Hojlund more than Jackson, I'm not talking about this game, is because his conversion rate is much better, is because he scores goals when he actually gets opportunities to do it. And the numbers say it. Jackson doesn't. Now, if you say, I like that Jackson does other things and all that and, misses tons of sitters, cool. You like that. You're okay with that. That's fine. I have no problem with that. For me today, I was cool. I wasn't going to get, I thought Hojlund was not great based on the third chance. So the first one he snatched at, but he didn't expect to get the ball. But realistically, a more composed striker still should get that on target. So fair play. And I said this before the third chance. I'm like, if you give him 3 chances, I expect him to at least score one or get close. So the second chance, that's a Neuer save. I'm sorry. Like, I'm never going to be one of those people who discredits a save when it's that. Like, that's just a really great save. Could he have taken it on the outside and maybe gone around him? Potentially. But it was a great save. Now, the third one, that's where you're like, you can't be kicking it directly at the keeper. And the thing is, you're playing.
Yeah, that was the worst one by far.
You're not going to get a lot of chances, right? So to be considered good or to have a great opportunity, like you have to score. If you get 3 chances, which he did, in my opinion, if I'm going to rate you as a proper striker, you score 1, and that's me being very fair and objective. I'm not like, so if he had only got those two chances, I'd have been like, decent game, but you had 3 chances, you should score. And the third one was like, at least if he had forced a hard save, I would have given him a bit. Like, he kicked it right at him. He had no composure. He just was like, I'm going to hammer this as hard as I can. You had the whole net to aim at. You didn't try to do anything. So I think the agenda, though, is because people are trying to, prop up their own players, which we always do, which is dumb. Like, nobody cares about Jackson in this Euros right now. Like, I don't know why Chelsea fans are even talking about him. He's not there. We don't care. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, but we've seen that a lot.
And he was sit at the AFCON anyway. So.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen a lot of that this tournament, depending on Matt sitting here was doing it when I was saying that Mainu needed to come in. I know the biggest reason he would publicly say, and I disagree with you, is because I don't know what it is, because I've been young and done it myself. Oh, bloody hell, if Mainu comes in and England get better, then it's Man United fans get to gloat, and I don't want to see that online. And the same as Kai Havertz missing some chances tonight. You'll get people that don't like Kai Havertz that will go absolutely in on him.
Can I say something?
It isn't even Kai Havertz. It will be because they don't like Arsenal more so than the player. And I think we can all smell an agenda a mile away. That doesn't mean that criticism shouldn't happen, because Rasmus didn't have a good game tonight. But I feel that it's gone way over the top, to a point where I've seen Man United fans tweeting like they're happy he's had a bad game. That for me is an alien concept.
It's kind of stupid. It's kind of dumb to me, the tribalism. And I want to jump in on the Kai thing, because everybody, if you've been watching the Terrace for even a year, you know how I feel about Kai Havertz. I actually disagree with you, Husam. I thought he had a decent game, to be completely honest. But I agree fully that if he misses those chances against Spain, they're done. Like, in this game, he was able to get away with it. He did other things. I thought the shot that was a volley was a great shot, and another good save from Kasper Schmeichel. I think the header was a diabolical miss. And that last one, let's be honest, the game's kind of done. And I think you're switched off a bit. I think him getting into those spaces and him getting those opportunities is what's going to be important against Spain. Yeah. He can't miss those chances against Spain, though.
Do you know what I found really, really interesting about Kai Havertz tonight? Is I thought his overall performance was good. His finishing in front of goal was off.
Yeah.
And I know in the utopia world, you want a really good overall performance and the goals. But if he would have played poorly, his touch was off, his interplay was bad, his approach play was terrible, positioning was rank, but he'd scored those 2 chances, the same people would say, great, he's got his goals, but where was the overarching performance? And the problem is with a lot of analysis, in my opinion, in the modern day, is it is shrouded in agendas, and we seek the negativities in players that we dislike, and we ignore them in players that we love. And there is very rarely, and I spoke about it a lot in the last few days, any object. Someone actually said to me the other day that asking someone to be objective is an oxymoronic approach to their opinion. So if they don't like a player, asking them to be objective is oxymoronic. And I can't fathom that people actually believe it's an oxymoron to be able to say, do you know what? Kai Havertz really did miss two good chances tonight, but his overarching play was pretty good. I think to ignore those 2, to not be able to see that, for me is, again, I don't believe you're watching the game. I believe it is shrouded in a dislike to the player or to the club that he plays for. I really do. The same as we've seen Foden. He was poor in the first game for England. In the last 2 games, he's been one of our better attackers. The fact that he was pulled off before Bellingham was crazy. But again, got to stick it to him. He's Man City player. Got to stick it to him. It's weird to me. I don't understand this whole tournament. It's been the only downside to the tournament is everybody's agendas coming through. And I ain't saying, by the way, that Husam has one. Husam just sees it that way. Sam doesn't have an agenda against Kai Havertz every single week. But it's just the usual suspects. You almost don't even need to check what they're saying anymore.
Here's the thing. You know
exactly what they're going to say.
If you value finishing, obviously you should value finishing, but if you value what he's supposed to bring, which is goals, like, I get what Husam's saying. Like, he missed like 4 big chances. That's a lot of chances to miss.
Yes.
So I think when you look at, and I hear what you're saying, Terry, well, when you look at the whole game, cool. But now it's like, I think the fair thing is looking ahead. It's Denmark. You should be like,
no. So I see, again, I can listen to all of that, and I think it's fair criticism. I'm not disagreeing. But I'll give you an example. Got Chelsea fans in the group chats, Chelsea fans in the comment section. I respect. I've heard them all at least once, if not multiple times this season, say, do you know what? Jackson, he ain't scoring yet, but you know what? He's in the right positions. And I love the fact he was in the right positions. Zero of that for Hojlund tonight. Missed the chances, but there's none of that. Well, you know, he got into the positions though, didn't he? And that's my issue with the analysis. I get that people protect their own more than rivals, and I'm not asking for any difference, but it's just boring when I see criticism of one player for missing a chance and the defense of another when it's identical. It's like, you've either got to keep the same energy or keep quiet now. I think what we do as fan content has evolved, and objectivity is needed now more than ever. And the difference is, I don't think Sam's opinion is shrouded in agenda, but most people online it is. Do you know what I'm saying? And
yeah, because I've actually been praising Hojlund this season, and I've been one of the people who say I'll take him over Jackson. I stick by that.
I agree.
This game doesn't change it. But listen, when you're in the knockout rounds, you have to be clinical. There's just no, because
I agree.
By definition, you're out. You're out if you miss chances. Now, the reason why I brought up the next game is, there's something that Cam said, which is, next up, it's a more elite opponent. There's something else. Against an elite opponent, you're not going to get 4 big chances to begin with. Like, that's the thing. You ain't going to get those 4 big chances. So when you get your 1, never mind 4, you've got to score it. That's the difference there. So that's where I think maybe against Spain, I think it'll be a different story.
Mate, that element, I just don't disagree with. And that's what I mean by seeing it from all sides. And it's whether we're talking Kai Havertz or Rasmus, I think their finishing tonight was poor. I think that Kai Havertz's overall game was very good. And and he delivered that all-important penalty. Let's not pretend. Again, I can't be a hypocrite. When I see Bruno Fernandes score penalties, I say that's a goal. I can't then see Kai Havertz score a penalty and disregard it as unimportant when it was at such a... I mean, his penalty came at probably the most decisive time in the game, where Denmark started to look like the better team. They'd just had a goal disallowed. The crowd was up. If he misses that penalty, this game could have been completely and utterly different. So, look, I look at it from all sides, but I see through the agendas. Matt's here with us. What do you want to say, Matt?
Yeah, no. Start off with Hojlund. I felt he had an average game. Like, he wasn't great, but he definitely wasn't bad. Like, he was getting into those right position, like you said, and I think he just rushes that final element of scoring and taking that shot. And I think it's similar to Kai Havertz in a way, in that with Kai Havertz, like I've watched him for like a whole season now, and with Kai Havertz, he like you have to give him the ball and he can't think, because if he thinks too long, he's just going to fluff his lines. And we saw that quite a lot for Arsenal. And in particular, this game, he had some fantastic skill and he had too much time to think on the ball and just completely scuffed the shot. I think had that shot element was closer, no, his skill element was closer to the goal, I think he probably would have scored that, because he would have had less time to think and, like that less time to execute that. And he's usually pretty good at that, where he don't really need much time, in my opinion.
Why you're sugarcoating it, bro? The guy was crap.
I'm not.
He was
I'm not.
absolutely garbage. Just say it as it is, bro. He's trying so hard, He's trying, like, he's coming in the football terrace. Matt, I've been watching you. Like, he's coming in the football terrace. There's Cam, and there is Terry, and he's like, well, the guy has been bad, but you know what? Don't give him a chance to think. Maybe if you do that, he will come good, bro. Rasmus Hojlund was ass. Just say it as it is. He was ass. He was moving and trying. Quality's not there. Took a couple of shots that were like the side net where we should have hit the target, right foot, left foot.
One shot that hit the side net, not couple.
Two, the first half and the second half. Then in the first half he shot side foot. One in the first half with left foot. One in the second half with right foot. And then the other shot went to Manuel Neuer's chest. Am I wrong here?
But you're saying
first
the
half,
side netting.
He was on the left.
Yeah, but the one was saved. The one was saved.
His touch was bad. And I was like, his touch was bad. His movement looked good. His movement looked good, though.
See, but this is the difference. I think he's criticizing his game tonight is bang on. He wasn't good tonight.
Yeah.
But it's the problem that we have in football now is every game of analysis is an obituary. So it's tonight proves he ain't ever going to be good enough. And I
never said that.
No, I'm not saying you. I'm saying not doing that. And so JJ says here, Terry, why are you so triggered when people laugh at Rasmus? I'm not. I'm triggered when Man United fans laugh. There is no need for a Man United fan to be happy that one of their own players had a bad game. That for me is psychopathic or fake behavior. You can't be happy. Like, I'll give you an example. Husam doesn't rate Luis Diaz. I never see him happy when Luis Diaz had a bad game. Club or country, because
never.
Why would you? It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. It's something you care about or should care about to do badly. But no, I agree with everything Mo said. I mean, I wouldn't have used the word arse because he's a Man United player. I'm trying to be respectful, but it was a poor game from him tonight. And I think that every Man United fan worth their salt can admit that. But some people go and see, this is exactly why I'll never ever back him or want him sold. It's just too much for me. It's too far.
I'm just gonna say the same, right? For Kai Havertz, for Rasmus Hojlund, I have seen the good Rasmus Hojlund sometimes when he played for Atalanta in Serie A sometimes. I have seen the quality he possesses, right? We have seen Kai Havertz at Leverkusen possesses top quality. The thing about it is that they show it in phases. They show it very sporadically. That's the thing. But when Kai Havertz showed it over half a season, we said, all right, you can revive that form. For Rasmus Hojlund now, it has been a bit. You know what I mean? It has been every game now when he's like, yes, your movement is right, but where's the touch? What happened to your touch? What happened to your first? What happened to your passer? What happened to your strength? Well, how are you being dominated when you showed us that you can do it? You're not a bad player. That's the thing about
I agree. I think the problem that he's got, and I think Ali McCoy, by the way, I want to say before we leave, I don't know what Clive Tilsley, last ever game he's commentating on tonight. I thought him and Ali McCoy here in the UK commentary, it was like listening to a fucking podcast. It was amazing. They were phenomenal. But Ali McCoy said it right. 2 tenths. And the expression that we use here in England sometimes is you're trying too hard. And some people go, how can you try too hard? But you can fighters do it. You can, and you a fighter can overextend. You can start telegraphing. you become tense. You know, if you've been a salesperson, you can sell too hard and you can come across a little bit desperate, and the buyer says, oh no. And again, depending on what you've all done in jobs and roles, you've all been there.
So
You can
I had
try
a
too
buddy-
hard, you can overextend, you can be tense. And I think that's what Rasmus needs to learn, to relax. And that is a mental state more than a technical capability, because he's getting into the right areas. He just today, it was when he had those moments, the brain weren't working. It was very, very, very rash from him. And the thing is, he needs that criticism, because that's the only way you're going to get it out of him. The criticism and development from it is key.
I think like you're right on the 10 stuff, because he's snatching at things, right? And then I have a group chat where we're going off about, we hope his finishing gets better because he is snatching at balls, and that's probably due to him being tense, and he's going to need more time. And I hear what you're saying. Well, you're like, you know, it's coming up on time. He's still pretty young. He's still 20. Like, I'm going to wait till next year. I think when you're 20 for a striker, you get a little bit more time, but the snatching has to stop, because that is something that will then just become part of who he is. Honestly, I do think we're not talking enough about like what Germany did, though. Germany, in my opinion, right now, when I look at the footballing sides in the Euros, between them and Spain, who's really played better? And like, in my opinion, like maybe Austria's looked pretty decent, but when I think about how they ushered him and made sure he didn't get any pure clear-cut chances, Rudiger had a great game. And I think when it comes to the defensive midfield, also with Germany, it's very hard for any team to find space. The one thing that I wish Nagelsmann was a free agent and we got him. That was the one coach I kind of really wanted. The one thing I think he's done really well with this team is, and I'm stealing this from you, Mal, I was watching one of your streams, and I don't know how to say the dude's last name. The midfielder they put beside him, it's not like you went and found like the best player and put Kimmich there because he has played DM. You found the best player to put beside Kroos, and that guy, Scotto, like whatever his name is, he's
Andrich. You're talking about Andrich.
Andrich, and there's the other dude too. There's another big guy who plays center back, but those two of them, but they were
Schlotterbeck.
Yeah, those two.
Yeah, very
those
good.
two are
He's a
monsters.
very good footballer, this guy Schlotterbeck.
But like,
Derek,
but you know what I mean? He's not like a
But
star.
also, Cam, they allowed Denmark too many chances in that, a couple of chances in the first half. The one-on-one,
Not to Rasmus.
Hojlund, he
one.
literally, that was a one-on-one, but that was a great save by Manuel Neuer as well. Like, I just gotta say, he went out like really quickly. Manuel Neuer, that first half, it could have been 1-0. That one-on-one, he dinked it over Manuel Neuer, and Manuel Neuer saved it with his left hand. That was one-on-one when Christian Eriksen played a phenomenal ball.
Yeah.
I get what you said, but I don't think Germany looked amazing this game. If it wasn't for the penalty, I thought Germany were like, yeah, you're creating some chances, but you're still wide open. You guys noticed like Denmark were able to get 2-on-2 and 3-on-3, and if it wasn't for the brilliance of Rudiger, it was kind of like, why are you allowing that much space?
We said it on the last stream. Said, "Oh, this tournament, no one's formidable." It's why I get the only thing I disagree with what Husam has said. I think everything Husam has said tonight has been perfect, other than I thought I was quite entertained by the game. Up until it went 2-0, and then it kind of, I quite enjoyed it. It wasn't as high quality as some of the other matches, as in like technical ability, but it had a bit of end-to-end to it. It was open. I certainly enjoyed that. There's a comment here about Rasmus, and I want to bring this up because it's important. It says, "Miss me with this, just a kid talk. How old is Yamal?" The problem that you have here, this feeds into what I said earlier. This feeds into what I said earlier in the whole, and it's going to move on now because Mbappe's older. But I did a video maybe 8 years, less than that now, but about 6 years ago, saying you're either Mbappe or crap, and that's the problem.
You're either generational or you're garbage.
Well, yeah. There's this is the thing. There are always outliers.
Talent.
There are always outliers. Lamal could be one of them right now. Rooney was one of them. Messi was one of them. The irony is,
Neymar.
Cristiano Ronaldo wasn't. Cristiano Ronaldo had a lot of skill. So the one difference between, by the way, I never think Rasmus was anywhere near Ronaldo. Cristiano Ronaldo had a lot of skill when he was younger, and he was tipped to be brilliant. But nobody predicted what he became. There wasn't a person in football when he was 18, 19, 20, 21, 22 that said this guy could not only become prolific, but become the highest goal scorer in the history of football. People develop at different stages. David Beckham didn't start playing regularly for Manchester United until he was 22 to 23 years of age. And there are multiple examples. Harry Kane wasn't ready for Premier League football until he's, 22, 23? He went out on loan lots and was developing. and we knew how good he was as a player. Look how long until Mo Salah was genuinely ready to be that world-class player. Mo Salah wasn't 18 years old, world-class, playing for one of the best teams in the world. Look how good he became. And this is the issue with this conversation. People will say, well, Musiala's young and delivering, so I don't care that this guy's 21. I'm not giving him time. That for me is so, it shows a lack of understanding and is completely and utterly disingenuous, because not everybody develops in life in general. Not everybody develops at the same time. Look at Matt. He's 29, ain't got a beard yet. No, I'm joking. But the point is, right, is that everybody develops at different stages and at different times. I'm not saying that Rasmus, I don't think Rasmus will ever be as good as some of these generational talents, and not claim that. This idea, because at 21, he's not doing what Mbappe was doing, you should write him off. You would ruin football. If football clubs just started selling everyone, it doesn't make sense. It's too much, my friend. This year says Kai Havertz for Germany, 38 starts, 30 GA. Is that a true stat?
I'm going to check that.
I know he has 18 goals in 30 odd his last 30 games.
50.
So it could be, if he's got 18 goals.
18 in 50.
18 in 50, is it 50 or 30? I thought it was in his last 18 in 50, sorry. Yeah, but then that could be right in terms of starts. By this logic, keep Lindelof, he might peak at 32. No, see, now you're being hyperbolic and you're going over the top. Nobody's stating that. But just because at 21 you're not the finished article doesn't mean that football fans shouldn't say, well, let's give him a little bit more time, just because there's an 18-year-old somewhere else in the world that's better than him.
So
because do you know how many Lamals there are? There's there's barely any. There's one.
No, but here's the thing, Terry. I want that same person to ask him the question, be like, you compare him to Lamal. Do you think he's generational then? Because if you do, then how do you think that term gets thrown around? Because there's supposed to be multiple of them. Like, it's really, it's annoying when you take a player who, like, the Jude Bellinghams, the Lamals, like these kids who are way above everybody. Well, you probably don't agree with the Jude Bellingham comment. I don't know. Well, I can never tell with your face, but I think with Jude Bellingham, Lamine Yamal, I think when you think about any of these younger kids who, like even Verts, who are showing that, like Musiala, they're just a cut above. There's a reason there's only one.
There are levels to this game. Why do people don't understand this?
Per team.
There are levels. There is the Lamine Yamal. There is Lamine Yamal, and then there is, I actually think there is someone who starts for Barcelona, had to shift Rafinha to the other side because he's that good at 16, starts for the Spanish national team, everything goes through him. And there is the next level as well. There is the Salah, and there is the Hojlund, and there is level below that as well. There is the Kai Havertz, which he was very good at Leverkusen, but he wasn't Musiala. You know what I mean? There are levels to the game.
No, but here's the thing, Mo. What Terry says, you're either Mbappe or you're crap, is unfortunately how the conversations go now. Listen, whether we like it or not, that's the conversation now. It's either like you're gonna be the next big thing and you'll have 20 GA and you're 15, or you're just crap and rubbish. I think here's the thing. I think time now has become a problem for many people to just give certain players time. I mean, if a player is 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, you know, they deserve time. 21, 22, same thing. But when you're 23, 24, 25, you can expect a bit more, you know, progression when it comes to performances. But I feel like when we talk about the youngsters, we need to look at the situations that they're in, the clubs that they're in, the leagues that they play in, how they perform, even how they perform for the national team. I mean, many people would consider Verts and Musiala very similar when it comes to level. Musiala is proving, now playing for the national team, surrounded by superstars, that, in my opinion, he's a level above. Like, this is why when we speak of these conversations, Hojlund, you could probably put him in the Garnacho category, you know, in the categories of, even, you know, I'll use one of my players, maybe like a Harvey Elliott, you know, that has shown signs here and there, has had bad games here and there. Now we see which direction they head in. So you just need time. You need time and performances to actually have a full-on opinion on the situation. Yeah, so that's I think.
Totally agree. Stella here says, Terry, you can't develop a first touch at 27. You need fundamentals that can be developed. Again, I actually agree with this.
20 years old.
But I agree with this. But he isn't 27, firstly. So you're 6 to 7 years ahead of yourself here. But also, no one is claiming that Rasmus is going to become a world-class superstar. But let's just say over the next 2 years, he becomes 30% more prolific. Just 30%. That is not a bad player to have in your team and within your squad. because not everybody's going to be world class. Not everybody in that Champions League and La Liga winning Real Madrid team this season is even in the very good category, let alone world class. And the way as fans, I just want everybody gone that isn't at Lamar's level or isn't at Musiala's level is crazy, because there isn't enough of those players around to build a squad with, let alone every top team to have. And as Man United fans, when we push this notion, our greatest teams weren't full of loads of players like that. So I don't understand what you fell in love with. I don't understand what team. How could you choose to pick Man United and then have this view of football? We've never been that team, ever. We've had those players, but we've always had squads that have been full of different individuals that have made us a very strong team overall. We're becoming so sort of polarized when it comes to these conversations. It's crazy to me that some players need a bit more time, but he's not 27. If he was 27 and playing like this, I'd say, well, he ain't probably going to get any better now. He's in his peak and he's at this point, but he's 21. To say that he can't get any better is disingenuous. Now, he may not get better, and you go, I was right, but you're not right, because you're saying that he can't get better as opposed to won't get better, and they're different statements. Some of the A+ students in school didn't become anything, but the so-called dumb ones rule the world of today. Give people time and you'll see the talent. Also looks. There are some people good looking at school. You see them when they hit 30. My God, do they look like pigs. And then some people, the ugly duckling story, they flourish later in life. I just can't believe we're having to, it's crazy to me.
Why?
You like how Rashford developed, Terry. That's another great point. You've also got to factor in the club they're in the situation. If Rashford at 19 left Man United and joined Man City, and Phil Foden left Man City and joined Man United, do you think both their careers would be where they are now? With the way my clubs run versus how Foden's clubs run? So to ignore the environment is crazy. If you take two twins identical in every way at birth and put one of them into a loving family with a bit of money and a good education, and you put the other one into a broken home, barely any money, do you think they're going to develop into the exact same people as if they grew up together? There's an argument to say no. Come on now, my friend. Let's just stop with this silly conversation. It's crazy.
Revisionism.
It's crazy to me. You know, Matt, yeah, you are right. It's just, of course, I'm not happy with where Rashford's gone, but I'm also not happy with how my club's been run at the same time. If Rashford would have been in a brilliant environment and didn't get better, then you'd say, do you know what? He's had every chance and he's fouled. I'm not saying Rashford's done nothing wrong in that situation, but come on now. Absolutely come on. Listen, I want to thank everybody. Actually, we've got, this here says, Terry, my problem is the fact that as a fan who is with Germany this tournament, Havertz was missing chances as a striker. Sane missed a big chance. Yeah, listen, they did, and that element needs to be criticized. But I don't think baby and bathwater needs to be thrown out completely. But that's just me. Look, I want to thank everyone that's tuned in. This video is going to take you through to MHF, that's obviously Mo and Sam's channel, for their review. So go and support them over there. We're back tomorrow. What is tomorrow? Is it Sunday or Monday? It's Sunday, with more content for you. I'm off now because UFC's on tonight. My boy Michael Venom Page is fighting. Big up MVP. Hope you win tonight, my friend.
Knockout tonight or what?
Who? Pereira. I hope so. I love Pereira, man. This guy reminds me, again, you kids ain't going to know this film. He reminds me of Tong Paul from Kickboxer. He just got that. You never watched Kickboxer with Van Damme? Oh, come on, man. You got to watch. Go watch Kickboxer with Van Damme. Great film. Listen, everyone who's tuned in, you're all legends, even if you don't agree with me. Take care. Goodbye. God bless. And I'll see you all soon. Peace.